I'll put you in a grade 16 like Kenny.
You call me a god. You call me a god. You call me a god.
Good evening and welcome to Premier League Live. I've no idea what happened there, but we're here tonight on this Thursday night. Not a usual night you would hear Premier League action, but tonight a London derby as both Chelsea and Spurs chase European football for next season. Both without it this season would love to have those European nights back at Stamford Bridge and the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. They battle it out tonight, knowing that they have all on their hands in the next couple of games. Spurs have a lot of chasing to do if they want Champions League. Chelsea, well, they're in the mix and they've got the benefit of having more games to go and more points to play for than their rivals. For tonight's teams, and Chelsea start with Dore Petrovic in goal. A back four of Alfie Gilchrist, who comes in at right back. Trevor Chalaba alongside Benoit Badiashile at centre back, with Marco Correa making up the defence. Moises Caicedo and Conor Gallagher make up the defensive midfield, with Gallagher captaining the side, with a front four of Cole Palmer, Mikhailo Mudryk, Noni Madueke and Nicholas Jackson leading the line. Some youngsters on the bench as well for Chelsea, and they might get their chance, their opportunity this evening. For Tottenham, Vicario starts in goal. That North London derby defeat at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium at the weekend by losing by 3-2. Well, Ange Postecoglou's made 5 changes for that one. Vicario starts in goal, he remains. Pedro Porro, Christian Romero, Mickey van de Ven join in defence and are joined by Emerson Royal, who comes in defence. Pape Sarr, who came on at the weekend, he starts this evening alongside Yves Bissouma in midfield, with Dejan Kulusevski with a more central role this evening. Brennan Johnson off the right, Heung-min Son off the left, who captains the side, and Richarlison through the middle. And a first in 9 starting for Richarlison. Lots of bodies on the bench as well. Maddison, the key man, who has been dropped this afternoon. What will that change about Tottenham? We will find out. Kick-off in this London derby on a Thursday night. Strange night, but it is kick-off on the way next. Good evening and welcome to Stamford Bridge, to Chelsea against Tottenham here on Premier League Live this evening. It is not often you get a midweek Premier League game on a Thursday, and this is one to behold. Chelsea and Tottenham, two of the Premier League's biggest London clubs, and they are battling it out as both chase European football. New managers, new regimes. It's really new battles and some new players in the mix as well. Chelsea quite a lot, but some new players, some young players in the mix. One, Alfie Gilchrist, starts at right back tonight for Chelsea. We'll see how he does. Of course, a very perilous position, with the club captain Reece James being his position. Spurs in their home strip of white shirts and navy shorts, and Chelsea in all blue, of course, as we get underway in this game. Of course, it's a replay, a kind of scheduling of the round 26 games after this one was postponed, of course. So that will be a game in hand that Spurs have had over Aston Villa that will be disappearing tonight, no matter the result. A win would be huge for Spurs. They kind of need a win, really. You need to pick up 6 points from their 2 games in hand and hope Villa drop points, because it's in Aston Villa's hands at this moment in time, heading into the final 3 games of the season for Villa. They've got the 7-point lead. It's Spurs on the chase, and it's all in Villa's hands for Champions League football. Of course, that 5th spot not going to England. It's Italy and Germany that get those extra Champions League spots for next season, as Pape Sarr has to put that one behind for And we'll get a throw in here for Pedro Porro. Battling on that right hand side for Tottenham. Sarr linking up with Porro. Flicks it back. Cucurella with the interception as Gallagher tries to carry it away. And Cucurella has to fire it long. In Chelsea's point of view, they start the night in ninth, of course, behind West Ham United. A draw would see them above West Ham, of course, tonight. A win would put Chelsea within touching distance of Newcastle and Manchester United above them, who are both battling for European places themselves. It's a real battle towards the end of this season, a real fine contest between a couple of those teams for that coveted European spot. Of course, we don't know as of yet where those spots will go to. If Manchester United win the FA Cup, then of course they get automatic Europa League qualification. And then the extra spot will drop down. All to be decided, of course, as the season continues. Spurs playing it out from the back there, and Sarr back to his goal. Had to adjust, and he does so, but he does slip in the end there, and Badiashile can win it back for Chelsea. Space opening up. Finds Madueke. Noni Madueke riding the challenge of Pap Sarr. Finds Palmer. Palmer closed down there pretty quickly, and it will be dealt with by Spurs. Not really, though. Not well dealt with, as Emerson Royal could only head it out of play from Vicario's pass. And that was really unnecessary from Tottenham. The throw-in is well defended. I mean, there was a stat came up just before the game got underway about defending set pieces. Spurs have conceded the fifth most goals from set pieces. Only the bottom four in the league, that's Forest, Luton, Burnley and Sheffield United, have conceded more from set pieces than Spurs this season. 14 goals conceded from set pieces. That it will be a key target for Chelsea this evening, to try and pinpoint and try and get as much of an advantage out of those set pieces as they possibly can this evening. And we'll see if they can do so tonight, Chelsea. Of course, Chelsea, in their own kind of indifferent form as of recent times. I mean, that massive defeat to Arsenal last Tuesday, 9 days ago, was a real kind of blip for Chelsea, because they've been in decent form. You know, that was their first defeat in the league since Wolves back in the start of February. Here's Nicholas Jackson off the line from Mickey van de Ven, and gets a massive hug from his keeper Vicario. Nicholas Jackson probably should have had Chelsea one up there. Again, it's Spurs giving away at the back. I think it was Mudryk that latched upon it, played Jackson in behind. Jackson's well onside. Terrible defending from Christian Romero. Just dropped back, didn't play the high line. Allowed the space for Jackson to run in behind, and Jackson just tries to toe poke it between the the Spurs keeper, and it rolls away through Vicario's legs. Van de Ven on the cover clears it away, and then it bounces off Palmer behind for the goal kick. Chelsea just had another chance there, Mikhailo Mudryk hitting wide, but the chance here, just seeing the replay of it again, Van de Ven, it's a couple of yards off the line. It's not the best off the line clearance we've seen in Premier League history, but it's certainly a good one, and it was certainly necessary for Tottenham to happen in that moment. It was all of their own doing, really, Spurs. Should have done a lot better from that position, but they did give it away on all of their own accord, really. Here's Brennan Johnson to try and get Spurs on the front foot. Something they need. They had a poor start against Arsenal at the weekend in the North London derby. 3-0 down in the first half. They were 1 down pretty early in that game, Tottenham, and it looked really perilous for them early doors. Here's Brennan Johnson into a gap. Brennan Johnson fires it straight at Marc Cucurella with a block. Johnson will pick it back up though on the right flank. Pays Porro. Johnson, back to Porro. Has to whip it in, takes a deflection, and Chala has to cover, as Richarlison was chasing and has to put it out for the Spurs throw on the right hand side. Porro. Won another throw in for Spurs. If you were watching our socials this afternoon on TikTok, we uploaded a video, 5 facts. It's something we're trying to do differently, add a bit of context to the game and a bit of our social awareness, shall we say, a bit more of our socials involvement for you. If you go and watch that, that would be greatly appreciated. If not, you'll probably see it at some point if you're following us on TikTok at LF Streams 2. 5 facts about the game, and one of the key facts was Spurs have won just once at Stamford Bridge in the Premier League era against Chelsea, which is something dramatic. Came in April 2018 when they won 3-1 here. But that was their only win on this ground in the Premier League era. In their last 38 meetings here, they have gone with just one win in that period of time. It's a really bad record and certainly not a happy hunting ground for Tottenham, but surely something that Ange Postecoglou will want to rip up the playbook of their recent experiences here at the Bridge. Of course, a big recent memory here at the Bridge was 8 years ago, when of course Spurs were going for the title at that point under Mauricio Pochettino, the current Chelsea manager. The Battle of the Bridge was here 8 years ago, when Leicester were handed the Premier League title back in 2016, when Chelsea drew 2-2 with Spurs here, and Spurs 2-0 up on that night, faltered a 2-goal lead to lose the title and hand the title to Leicester City that season. Had some memorable games here, and that was certainly one of them. What a season that was. What an incredible season. Chelsea at that point were actually the reigning champions, having won it the previous season. Here's Moises Caicedo. The ball into the box for Jackson. Cut out. Mudryk trying to win it back. Well dealt with by Royale. On the spin was Son, and did get away from Alfie Gilchrist. Has to go back their words though. One thing about Son, really disappointed with his performance against Arsenal at the weekend. I think Spurs up front really looked blunt. I mean, Arsenal gave them 2 massive opportunities to score, and they scored both of them. But other than that, Spurs didn't really create anything of their own accord at the weekend, and that will be a worry. That will be a concern. Yes, it's Arsenal, the best defensive side in the league, without a shadow of a doubt. But, Spurs were at home. It's a North London derby. They just looked a bit weak at times up front. Man goes down there. Referee Rob Jones saw nothing doing and actually gives Chelsea a free kick a bit further up the pitch. Noni Madueke fouled. We'll just see the replay of this possible penalty. It's Emerson Royale against Madueke. I mean, he makes a meal of that, Royale. There's not much in that for me. There's nothing in that. It's not foul. Michael Salisbury, the VAR. I think he's checked it, and the check is complete. No penalty. So the on-field decision stands, and I would particularly agree with that. It's not a foul. It's a bit soft for Emerson Royale, really. He didn't need to go down there, and that's the reason. 10 minutes gone then. Chelsea 0, Tottenham 0 here at Stamford Bridge tonight. Conor Gallagher's fouled inside his own half. Conor Gallagher, of course, who's making a real habit of becoming taking that armband from the start of games. He's 4 goals and 2 assists in his last 10 appearances. Premier League appearances, that is, for Conor Gallagher. Certainly having the output from midfield. Stepping up to that captaincy Chelsea have really fed around this season. There's been a couple of captains, of course, the captain and the vice captain bogged down with injuries, which isn't great to have at a football club. You know, it's not a particularly great thing to have when your vice captain and your captain both get injured. And Reece James and Ben Chilwell get injured very often. Here's Cole Palmer. He doesn't get injured very often. Here's Madueke down the right hand side. Palmer. Back to Gilchrist. Chalaba. Across the Badia Shield. Out to the left. Mudryk lets it run. Takes it out to the left flank. Up against Porro. Mudryk. Back to Nicholas Jackson. And Chelsea will just spray it around here for the moment. But I think Chelsea this season have been absolutely bogged down with injuries. Talk about that in a moment. I always start things. I always start talking about something whenever there's an attack happening. Palmer was coming forward there, but Chelsea have gone all the way back. But it's a foul on Moises Caicedo. A push by Dejan Kulusevski will give Chelsea the free kick. As I was saying, Chelsea have been bogged down with injuries this season. I mean, we've all heard the excuses from Manchester United manager Erik ten Hag about how his team have been bogged down with injuries in 2 positions this season. If you want to talk about who's been properly destroyed by injuries, Chelsea are the top target. Listen to this injury list. These are the players that are not in the squad tonight, either through injury or otherwise. Malo Gusto, Robert Sanchez, Ben Chilwell, Raheem Sterling, Thiago Silva, Levi Colwill, Wesley Fofana, Reece James, Carney Chukwuemeka, Christopher Nkunku, Romeo Lavia, Leslie Ugochukwu and Enzo Fernandez. Incredible. That is a combined 13 injured players. And the majority of them would be starting. Quite a few of them would be starters for this Chelsea side. So you want to talk about being bogged down with injuries. Chelsea are your prime example of that. Every club has injuries, but 13 in one time is massive. Big players. Corner for Chelsea here on the left-hand side. Mudryk to take. Remember, the first corner of the game this is. As I mentioned, Spurs, 14 goals conceded from set pieces. Only the bottom 4 in the league, positionally, have conceded more. Certainly not a good stat to have if you want to get the Champions League. Mudryk with a cross, headed headed wide by Richarlison there. And it will bounce behind for another Chelsea corner on the opposite side. But Spurs looked at sea there. What was that? I mean, Richarlison, a free header in his own box, and he just jumped for it. But what's that? He jumps for it. Vicario's coming to punch it. And Spurs have to head it away. But it's like a complete miscommunication. Either the keeper shouts for it and Richarlison leaves it, or the keeper leaves it and allows Richarlison to head it. Take control of your box, man. Terrible defending there. They got away with it. Another corner. Whipped in. Richarlison got a clean header on that one this time, and they get it away. Kukureya will get it back for Chelsea, but that first corner was a real calamity at the back. It was a real shambles. I mean, they had no idea what they were doing there, Spurs. No wonder why they've conceded the 5th highest goals from set pieces. Just seeing Richarlison there. He went down. It will be a free kick, but just keeping an eye on him. He always loves to complain. You never know. 15 minutes gone then in this London derby at Stamford Bridge, and Chelsea have had a few opportunities. They've been the better side to start the game. Spurs with just the one shot in the game. It was off target. Chelsea looked the better in the attacking areas at this moment in time. Gallagher battling. Good challenge by Jackson. Finds Caicedo, but the pass is a bit misplaced. Picked up again though. Good work from Chelsea in the midfield there. Winning it back in those areas, getting it off Tottenham, dispossessing the opposition quite efficiently, Chelsea so far. Lovely from Mudryk, nice skill. Cucurella, ball forward. Jackson on the run. Down the left-hand side. Does keep it in play. Comes infield up against Van der Ven. Cucurella with a cross. No one coming onto it but Gilchrist over the bar. Completely, no one was within 15 yards of that ball for Marc Cucurella there. It's Cucurella initially. I mean, Jackson can't be offside. He's in his own half there. Plays it down the left-hand side, given time and space. Just makes that diagonal run in from the left. Plays it onto Cucurella with a cutback, just a bit behind Palmer. And then it bounces to the edge of box for Gilchrist to run onto, and he strikes it over the bar with pure power behind that one from the young right back. But another good example of how Chelsea are finding the gaps in this Spurs defence and finding the space to try and penetrate, especially down that left-hand side, has been a focal point for Chelsea so far. Here's Kulishevsky for Spurs, though. Porro. Brennan Johnson with a cross, and that was a threatening one. Forced a save from Petrovic and cleared away by Chelsea, but that was a monster of a cross from Brennan Johnson. Here he is again. Porro. Game's opened up a bit more. Of course, Chelsea haven't lost at home since that defeat to Wolves, a 4-2 defeat here at the start of February. So, will be a full 3 months unbeaten at home if they remain unbeaten here tonight, which will be a positive considering how they started the season at home. One of the worst sides on their own turf at the start of this season. They were having a torrid time. Couldn't score for love nor money at home earlier this season, Chelsea. They found their groove. Scored 6 here against Everton a few weeks ago. Kept a clean sheet on that night, something that was lacking from them earlier in the season, those clean sheets. Here's Noni Madueke making a run down the right, up against Emerson Royal. Beats past him, looking for the cutback from the byline, but put behind by Romero. And out for the throw-in on the right-hand side. Nice burst of pace from Noni Madueke. Sped past Emerson Royal like he wasn't there. And then just tried to side foot it back into the danger zone in and around the 6-yard box. And Christian Romero had it all covered really quickly there. Easily dealt with, but a good threat from Chelsea again from the wide areas. Moises Caicedo's gone down under a challenge, so another Chelsea free kick is oncoming. Caicedo. He just clips the heel of Caicedo, I believe, there. Yeah, it's a studs one. Onto the heel. The lower Achilles area for Caicedo. It's a really painful one, that. Accidental from Kulishevsky, I would believe. Looked like it was accidental. Free kick and no more then. Gallagher and Palmer over it. Wide on the right-hand side here for Chelsea. Opportunity to whip a ball in. Another set piece for Spurs to try and contain and defend. Gallagher puts his hand up. Palmer rolls over the ball. Gallagher with the delivery. Right-footed. Headed to the back post. Badia Shield will have a shot, but that's easily blocked by Brennan Johnson. And we'll go out for a Chelsea throw on the left-hand side. We've some more action for Spurs on the road. They head back up, and they head up north to Anfield on Sunday, 4:30. We'll see Spurs in action again, and you can see the weekend's action on the left-hand side of your screen. Our 3 other Premier League games this weekend. 2 on Sunday, and then that Monday night game between Crystal Palace and Manchester United at Selhurst Park. Here's Mudryk. Trying to run himself. Gets the break of the ball here, Mikhailo Mudryk. Tries to break through. And just tried to roll it into a space, but easily picked up by Vicario in the end. But it was a really nice solo run from Mikhailo Mudryk. Got the bounce of the ball off Brennan Johnson, tracking back, and then run out of room, and Mickey van der Ven got the better of him, and all he could do was roll it into the keeper's hands there, Mudryk. But another good run from the wide areas for Chelsea's really where they're starting to find the joy in the wings. For Mudryk and for Madueke in the opposite side. Where they're finding those gaps so far, Chelsea. Well, we do have Europa League and Europa Conference League action for you tonight. We'll keep you up to date with all the scores. And our match focus game tonight. We do have a match focus game, despite it being Premier League night. A match focus game at Villa Park. Here this evening, Aston Villa against Olympiacos in their semi-final first leg of the Europa Conference League. Kick-off in about 8 minutes' time. 8 o'clock kick-off from Villa Park. We'll keep you to date with that as and when the action unfolds. Chala. Badia Shield. Finds Mudryk. Looking for the switch ball. Lovely switch ball by Mudryk. Finds Madueke on the right. Madueke making the diagonal run. Madueke looking for the space. Madueke with the shots. Over the bar. Not too far away from Noni Madueke there. Really nice move by Chelsea. Winger to winger. Lovely switch ball by Mudryk initially. And acres of space for Noni Madueke on the right flank. Just drives in field. Diagonally from the right into the centre. Gets to the edge of the box. Finds a kind of inch of space. And just tries to curl it to the top corner. But just curls it a bit too high. And just over the bar for a goal kick. Chelsea certainly found their groove and starting to really test Tottenham. Surely if they keep it at this level, it's only a matter of time before they get the opening goal. And that's a foul on Madueke there. Not only is he trying to run down the wings, he's also getting himself involved in the middle. Noni Madueke there, winning his side a free kick. And of course, one thing you have to really kind of commend for Chelsea this season, they have been bogged down with injuries, but at times the players that have come in into those areas, especially in the wide areas, especially up front, have really looked lively in those moments. As they have another free kick here. Gallagher and Palmer over it again. Palmer leaves it. Gallagher with a delivery and again headed on and in. What a header! Trevor Chala. I told you Spurs were weak from set pieces. And there's the perfect example and delivery of it. Incredible. Trevor Chala. From the back to the front. And Trevor Chala gives Chelsea the lead. Conor Gallagher's delivery on a sixpence. And Trevor Chala didn't need to put pace on it, just needed to direct it into the top right corner. And that he did with his head. Fabulous from Trevor Chala. He's onside. And Spurs again not tracking the runners. Trevor Chala just has so much time to eye up the cross, see where he needs to get to, and get up early enough to head it in. Terrible marking from Spurs. They're all over the place. It's 6s and 7s from set pieces. This is something that cannot continue. But so far, they're actually checking for offside. VAR. I'm not sure about this. I think Trevor Chalobah's okay. I mean, what are they doing? Trevor Chalobah's miles onside. He's miles onside here. What's VAR doing? Mickey Van de Ven, Emerson Royal, Richarlison. There's about 3 or 4 Spurs players playing him onside here. Goodness me, hurry up. We've witnessed VAR checks in the European games yesterday and Tuesday. Easy work. The goal scored, 20-second check, check complete, goal given. They're now checking for something. I don't even know what's going on here. What are they checking for? Oh, come on. They've cleared an offside check, and now they're checking for a foul. What's going on? Get a grip, VAR. Are you serious? Mark Cucurella is battling here with Brennan Johnson, trying to block him off. Rightfully so. And Trevor Chala running free. But it's terrible from Spurs initially. What's all this waiting about? Give the goal. There we are. About 3 minutes goes by, and we know the outcome. It's a goal. But what was all that waiting about for? What a waste of time. What a waste of time. You can understand exactly why people are frustrated with VAR. Moments like that. We've sat here for 2-3 minutes waiting on the inevitable. We know that it's a goal. It's almost like VAR trying to find a way to disallow the goal. No need. No need. Where's the whole point of clear and obvious error? If there's a clear and obvious error, change the decision. I didn't see anything. Keep with the on-field decision. Nothing there for me. And rightfully so it was given. But there was no need to wait 2.5 minutes to figure that out. Honestly. This is the frustration this season. The delaying. The constant waiting around to figure out what we already know. What a ball by Mudryk. Or what a ball by Cucurella to find Mudryk, but the cross was a bit lacking for Mikhailo Mudryk there. And an easy recovery from Vicario as he given away there. Gallagher under pressuring. Porro under pressure. Gallagher finds Cucurella. Just as I got on a bit of a rant there, I lost my head a bit. But it is really frustrating. I'm not going to babble on about it, but it gets on my nerves. We sat and watched VAR checks. Quick looks at VAR in Europe this week. Goals checked within 20 seconds. It was cleared. But clearly the way things are done in the Premier League just takes too long. I mean, it's not... It brings into question, is the procedure in the Premier League of checking things just too rigorous for no reason? Because, I mean, there was English officials in Dortmund last night. Anthony Taylor, Stuart Atwell was on VAR. There was a few things they had to check, but it was checked pretty easily, pretty quickly. There was no problems. Here come Chelsea again, though. Noni Madueke got to the byline but run out of room. And it will be a goal kick. Chelsea looks so threatening. Spurs need to really figure this out before they get absolutely torn to bits here, because in the wide areas they're just not competitive at all, Tottenham. I mean, the fullbacks, Emerson Royal and Pedro Porro, are getting absolutely run rings around every time by the Chelsea wingers. I mean, they're nowhere to be seen defensively. Something that Ange Postecoglou has to address. Here's Brennan Johnson. Find the gap on the right. Johnson with a cross. Took a deflection. There's Charlison with a push there, but referee plays on. Now Cucurella finds Caicedo. Out to Palmer on the right. As we're getting underway in those Europa League and Europa Conference League games this evening, the semi-final first legs of both of those competitions. Tonight we'll update you on goals around the grounds in all of those games as they happen. 30 minutes gone then here at Stamford Bridge, and Spurs trailing by a goal to nil. Trevor Chalobah's goal took a long time to be checked, but it was eventually cleared, and rightfully so. Lovely delivery by Gallagher, and really good header by Chalobah to put Chelsea ahead. Of course, and it's what they deserve, really. There's no doubt about it. Chelsea have been the better team so far. They've moved it better in the final third, and really, Spurs have really struggled to create anything of any great quality at all. I mean, we've barely seen Heung-min Son, barely seen Richarlison, barely seen Kulusevski. Brennan Johnson's been the most involved, and it's probably because he's just running in the spaces. But other than that, they've had no real memorable moment in front of goal, Tottenham. And these opening moments of this game really lacking in that final third at this moment in time. As they were against Arsenal at the weekend. I alluded to it earlier in the game. You know, other than the two chances that Arsenal gave Spurs, Spurs really created nothing against Arsenal. Lovely from Palmer. Beautiful work. Here's Mudryk, chops on his right, and it just goes wide of the right post. Tried to target a curling effort to the top right corner, Mikhailo Mudryk, but it just goes wide of the right post, agonisingly wide. But beautiful play from Cole Palmer initially. Just chops back, beats his man in Bissouma, and then just takes it with his left, spreads it to the opposite flank to find Mudryk, and tries to curl it, but just goes wide from Mudryk there. But a good opportunity there from Chelsea again. They're back on the ball, the Blues. And Tottenham, the schedule doesn't get any easier in the run-in. We'll talk about that in a moment, because here comes Palmer. It might not get any easier any quickly. Madueke, Palmer tried to stretch for it to play it on, but Spurs can clear that away as Richarlison tries to get them forward. Goes to the floor, gets a free kick. Does Richarlison. I've really just... genuinely, I don't... It's still Ange Postecoglou's first season, and he still will have a transfer window in the summer to try and fix things for Spurs. I just don't know what their... I'm not saying they don't know what their idea is, but they just lost real kind of threat in any sort of capacity, really. They look a bit bedazzled. They don't know what they're kind of doing in moments in games, and whether the game plan is not right, whether the tactics are not right, whether the players are just not delivering what the manager is asking of them. Something is just not quite right at this moment in time for Tottenham. And that's not a bad thing. That's not a thing to say, oh, well, Spurs are in crisis here. But we look at it, they've conceded 7 goals in their last 2 games in the Premier League. 3-2 defeat to Arsenal, a 4-0 defeat away at Newcastle, already 1-0 down here against Chelsea, and it could be even worse for them. They've scored 2 goals in their last 2 games. Those 2 goals came from a gift from the Arsenal keeper and a penalty. From open play, they look really, really kind of blunt. And you can see it from Ange Postecoglou. The manager is really fuming on the sidelines here. He's really not happy with his team. He's barking orders to them. I don't blame him. They've had 1 shot in the game so far. Tottenham, none on target. Created an XG of 0.05. Here's Brennan Johnson on the right hand side. Seen wide by Marc Cucurella. Johnson beats his man, plays it into the box. Headed away there by Gilchrist. Chested down by Bissouma in the middle. Back to Porro on the right. Johnson. Porro. 10 minutes to go in the first half. Chelsea 1, Tottenham 0. Could be more further in Chelsea's favour. But at the moment, just the 1 goal to separate the 2 teams. Good hold up a play from Spurs there in the final third, but comes to nothing as of yet. But it's probably the most kind of extensive period of possession we've seen from Tottenham so far, really. Or actually a positive possession, shall we say. Ball over the top again. Brennan Johnson trying to challenge for the ball, ends up pushing Mark Cucurella to the ground and giving away a free kick. Ready, our first goal of the night in Europe, and it's come in Italy this evening. Fiorentina against Club Brugge in the Europa Conference League semi-final, and it is Riccardo Sottil with the goal for Fiorentina, who lead by 1-0. Of course, we're keeping a close eye on the game at Villa Park between Aston Villa and Olympiacos. Villa just came close there. They've got a corner on the right, which I'm just keeping an eye on from John McGinn. It's cornered in. It's headed behind at the back post. But Villa certainly threatening at Villa Park. Still no goal though in their game. Throw in the Spurs. Porro. Charlison battling against Badiashile, and Badiashile penalised here for seeming to have held on to Richarlison there. I think it was a bit kind of pulley-backy from Badiashile. He was pulling on the Spurs number 9. It is a foul, and it is a free kick in a good area too for Tottenham. And not bad at scoring from set pieces either. Don't mind a set piece goal to Tottenham. Pedro Porro to take this free kick. His referee just sorting out everything in the box, making sure all's good to go. What will Porro do here? Whips it to the back post, headed on and headed wide by Christian Romero. It was a huge opportunity. He had some big chances at the weekend against Arsenal in the North London derby, did Romero. Missed the headers on both of those occasions, and he's just got up there. Better from Gilchrist, and he should find the near corner. It just doesn't get his header right there, Romero, and it goes wide, but he should be doing so much better from that position. Should be doing better in those positions, though. Should Christian Romero. Gallagher for Chelsea. Mudryk. Brought down there by Caicedo. Kicked long by Chala. Picked up by Mark Cucurella from the Porro header. Mudryk linking up with Gallagher. Chelsea moving it quickly. Not waiting around. Although it does apply a press from Spurs. It almost works out. Chelsea do retain possession though. Here's Madueke. Down the right hand side is Cole Palmer. Plays it on the Madueke. Nice movement from Chelsea down the right flank. Madueke gets the ball. Carries it with him. Has to turn back away from Emerson Royal. Back to Gilchrist. Palmer. Gilchrist again. Has to go backwards to Chala. I think Noni Madueke's having a field day out there against Emerson Royal. He's not being tested whatsoever. Space there. Played on to Palmer from Madueke. Back to Caicedo. Cucurella. Chelsea keeping the ball nicely. Moving it really sharply around the pitch as Cucurella taking time. The referee played advantage and Chelsea didn't want the advantage. So they stood in one position and waited for the referee to blow the whistle for the free kick. Yeah, it is a foul by Porro. Leaves a leg hanging. Cucurella taken out there. So free kick from Chelsea, taken short. Mudryk trying to run towards the box. Try to go for a goal, but that one's well high and wide. Aston Villa thought they'd scored. They had the ball in the back of the net, but I think the officials which Unai Emery's having a chat with the fourth official, have ruled it out, maybe for a foul or an offside. I have no idea what they've ruled it out for, but they have ruled it out. There's no goal at Villa Park. Aston Villa thought they led, but they do not. They are still pushing. Been the better side of the opening 10 minutes or so in that one. Chelsea got a bit comfortable there in the middle. Given away to Van de Ven. Finds Son on the left hand side. Chance for Spurs here on the break. As they pass it backwards. Bissouma. Right, Chelsea to get back into shape. Now Porro. Porro with a cross. Headed away by Gilchrist. Pape Sarr will pick it back up again. And a poor pass there from Emerson Royal gives it away. As Jackson doing turnovers and everything. Stepovers, I meant. And he'd run out of room. And his stepovers turned into apple turnovers. And he fell to the floor and came to nothing. Here's Brennan Johnson now on the right flank. Trying to cross it into the box. And Cucurella, a tough customer. That left back for Chelsea, blocking it off and putting it behind for the Spurs corner. So a corner for Spurs. And Chelsea with only that one goal lead. Certainly not comfortable. As we enter the final 2 or 3 minutes of this first half. Porro with the ball in. That's not the best of deliveries. It will fall to Bissouma. Finds Kulishevsky now. Porro again working the angle back post. But that's far too overhit from Pedro Porro. And it goes behind for the goal kick to Chelsea. Comes to nothing. Goal in the Europa League this evening in the Europa League semi-finals. Between Marseille and Atalanta, and Gianluca Scamacca has put Atalanta ahead in that one, so they lead by 1-0. The team that put out Liverpool, Atalanta, in the quarter-finals, are leading in the semi-final first leg. As Petrovic not in a hurry to take this goal kick here. Bit early for time wasting, isn't it? Bit early. Takes it eventually there, Petrovic. Charlison won the header for Spurs. Brought down by Son. Cute pass from Spurs, broke down. Jackson can't find the pass that he was looking to be on the end of. And Spurs recover the ball again. Johnson. Pretty lackluster end of the half, really. Quality-wise, that was lovely from Gallagher, though. Completely baited his man. 30 seconds of the first 45 to go here at Stamford Bridge. It is Chelsea 1, Spurs 0. And it'll probably be about 10 minutes added time at the end of this half, because we waited so long on that VAR check for the only goal that we have of this first half. Here's Porro. Johnson with a heavy pass. Porro did make up for it, though. Finds Bissouma. And we will have 4 added minutes, so maybe 10 minutes was a bit of an exaggeration from me, but, you know, 4 minutes is still quite a lot of added time. That's a lovely ball, though. Madueke on the chase, but just curled away from him at the last second there, though. Nice idea, though, but again, Chelsea trying to find that ball in behind. Trying to switch it across the pitch and find the gap to break through. Don't forget, Aston Villa in action this evening in the Europa Conference League. Well, they're in action here on LFS on Sunday afternoon as they take on Brighton. 2 o'clock kickoff from the Amex Stadium. Brighton taking on Aston Villa. Sunday at 2 o'clock. If results go their way, Villa could find themselves within touching distance of Champions League qualification for next season. If they win at Brighton at the weekend, they could be a couple of points away. Here's Spurs on the break! And it's shot gone wide from Pape Sarr. Took a deflection on the process. Will be a Spurs corner. First real link up in the final third we've seen from Tottenham. Nice close control from Brennan Johnson. Plays it across to Pape Sarr, and Sarr having the shot deflected behind. Will be a Spurs corner. Chance for Spurs to try and level before half time. Corner taken short. Kulishevsky to pick it up in the box. No gap to run. Brennan Johnson with a cross. And there's a man lurking in the back post in Son, but was well marshalled by Mikhailo Mudryk to head it away for the throw-in and deny Son a chance at finding the net. Another quiet half from Heung-min Son, really. There's a goal at Villa Park to tell you about. I'll tell you about it just now. And there's a goal for... Actually, hold on. Tottenham are on the attack here. Chance. Oh, the deflection. Almost caught out Petrovic there. He did well to adjust. As I was mentioning, goal at Villa Park. It's not gone the way of Aston Villa. They've thought they'd led, but they're actually behind now. Olympiacos took the lead. An offside check. Duly checked, duly dealt with, and Matty Cash playing him onside the Olympiacos player. And it is Uab El Kabi that has given Olympiacos the lead. So Aston Villa 0, Olympiacos 1 at Villa Park. So Villa, the only remaining English side in European competitions this season. They're at threat of finding themselves with a deficit to take to Greece next week. A goal in that other game in the Europa Conference League. Club Brugge have actually levelled against Fiorentina, so it is 1-1 in that game. Oh, Spurs a bit nervy there at the back, and Van de Ven took no risks. Headed up behind, it will be a corner. Last couple of seconds. Should be enough time to take this. Should be the last action of the half. Again, Spurs talked about them from set pieces. Already conceded one from a set piece tonight. And on the verge of the interval. Chelsea have a corner, left-hand side, whipped in, headed on and headed behind by Mikhailo Mudryk. And that is the end of the first half. 49 minutes, just the one goal to separate Chelsea and Spurs, but a goal from Trevor Chala, his first Premier League goal of the season, has Chelsea ahead. It took a long check to figure out whether the goal was valid or not. It was. Spurs have had a couple of half chances towards the end of the half, but a pretty disappointing first half from Tottenham in the final third once again. And that's why they trail. Chelsea 1, Spurs 0 at the break.
Catch me if I fall. I'll put you in a grid 6 feet like Kenny.
You call me a god. You call me a god.
Welcome back to Premier League Live. Half time at Stamford Bridge. It is Chelsea 1, Tottenham 0. You were just watching our match focus game there this evening between Aston Villa and Olympiacos, where Olympiacos are leading by 1-0. They kicked off about a half an hour later than us. They're only in the first half, 23 minutes gone at Villa Park. I'll update you if anything changes in that game. In the other games in the Europa League this evening, Marseille have levelled it against Atalanta. Chancel Mbemba has levelled for Marseille, it's 1-1, and Roma have are goalless against Bayer Leverkusen. Remember, the remaining unbeaten Bayer Leverkusen taking on Roma this evening in Italy, and it is goalless there in the Europa League. In the Europa Conference League, as I mentioned, Aston Villa 0, Olympiacos 1, and the other game, Club Brugge's equaliser was allowed. Their equaliser, was a penalty awarded, and it was equalised by Hans Van Aken. So 1-1 there between Fiorentina and Club Brugge. At half-time here at the Bridge, and really, being honest, I have a lot to say on that first half, and the majority of it is around the goal. Chelsea score, and it was a perfectly good goal. Really good delivery by Gallagher. Really nice header by Trevor Chala. Then whenever you see the graphics coming up, VAR checking goal, possible offside, I'm like, okay, let's have a look. Look down the line. There's about 3 or 4 Spurs players deeper than Trevor Chala. He's miles onside. There's no doubt about that. Even Stevie Wonder, no offence to Stevie Wonder or any other blind people out there, but that's how obvious it was. You didn't need your sight to see it. Honestly, it was that glaring that he was onside. It was obvious. Then they decided to do something else. They decided to check for a possible foul of some sort. Marco Correa trying to block off a Spurs defender in the process. Didn't block him. There was no foul in it. He didn't block him. It's called defending. It's called kind of attacking the corner. Happens at every corner. Happens every set piece. There's physical battles in there. We've seen it in the Carabao Cup final. Liverpool were penalised against Chelsea that time because Liverpool were deemed to have held back a Chelsea player that could have went for the ball. But the whole argument made that time around was, you're speculating. You cannot speculate these things. They didn't. They gave the goal eventually. But we waited 2.5 minutes for a goal that is probably one of the most obvious goals I've seen this season. There's no issues whatsoever with it, and quite clearly so. You didn't need 15,000 replays to see that there was a clear and obvious goal, and there was no issues with it. But that was the frustrating part, and it brings it back to that whole argument of there's a need for a better use of VAR. Either the system's not the problem. It's either the people in charge of VAR or the procedure of using VAR. It's one of the two that is not working at this moment because they're just taking far too long to get simple decisions correct. And even when they don't get them right, they're taking far too long, wasting too much time and disallowing goals for the littlest of things. VAR was brought in to fix the game. It's made it more controversial. It's made it more detrimental. It's taken away goals. It's destroying certain moments, and it's making it really difficult to enjoy at times really good goals. And that's what's frustrating about it. Not a problem with VAR itself, it's the use of the system in the Premier League is the problem. No issues with it in the Champions League, Europa League, Europa Conference League. There's no issues with it in Europe, in the Nations League, in the Euros, in the World Cup we saw in 2022. No problems. VAR were fine. No issues on the world stage or the European stage. When it comes to the Premier League, there is something not right, whatever it is. Who knows? And I've given up worrying about it because it's just going to put you in a bad mood. And I do not want to be in a bad mood at any point. Right, then half-time, as I mentioned, Chelsea 1, Spurs 0. The stats from that first half is really quite, not unexpected. It's quite obvious what the first half stats will be. The one thing is, Spurs have had more possession than Aston Villa, than Chelsea, 52% to 48%, so very little margin. of difference there, but there is a difference, and Spurs leading that front. But every other stat is really Chelsea's. 11 shots for Chelsea to Spurs' 3 on target for Chelsea. Spurs without a shot on target in that first half. 3 corners for Chelsea to Spurs' 2 corners. Chelsea with 3 big chances in that first half. They've missed 2 of those. They took the other one, which was the goal. Spurs have a better passing. 84% passing accuracy for both teams. Spurs just having about 14 more passes than them, so very little difference there. And XG wise, in terms of expected goals, Chelsea's XG is 1.41 and Spurs is 0.37. So Spurs clearly not doing enough in front of goal. We have, speaking of goals and not doing enough, well, Olympiacos are certainly doing the business in front of goal tonight, because they have doubled their lead at Villa Park. And Aston Villa, with that home leg, that really good run for Unai Emery, over 14 years, only 4 defeats in a European home leg. Well, it looks like it might be defeat number 5 tonight, barring a big comeback from Aston Villa, because they find themselves 2-0 down after just 30 minutes at Villa Park. It is Ayoub El Kaabi again to double Olympiacos' lead. In Birmingham this evening, Aston Villa 0. Olympiacos 2 in those European games. Not looking good for Unai Emery's side, of course, only the first leg, obviously. The other goal to tell you about, there is another goal to tell you about, and it's in the only game that didn't have a goal up to this point. That was Roma against Bayer Leverkusen. Leverkusen have left it late, more times than enough this season to get winning goals. Well, they've already taken the lead in the first half here this evening, and who else but Florian Wirtz with the goal to give Bayer Leverkusen the lead. His 4th Europa League goal of the season. An incredible form. Florian Wirtz. And he is wonderful and doing the business for Leverkusen. Even having an injury period spell this season, he's still delivering on the pitch and offering as much as he possibly can. And Bayer Leverkusen lead in Rome. Right, second half from Stamford Bridge on the way in just a moment. Just to remind you then, as you can see on the left-hand side of your screen, the games coming up this weekend on LFS. In the Premier League, Brighton against Villa on Sunday, 2 o'clock. We have Spurs back in action again on Sunday at 4:30. They head to Anfield to face Liverpool at 4:30. And then Monday night, we have Crystal Palace taking on Manchester United, 8 o'clock this Monday evening. Before all that, though, we have a big afternoon for you on Saturday lunchtime. We're in action Saturday lunchtime as all 12 final day games from the Championship as it comes to a close. Who will get that final automatic promotion spot? Will be Ipswich or Leeds. We will be watching Ipswich v Huddersfield and keeping an eye on all 11 other games around the Championship for you Saturday 12:30 here on LFS. Right, second half on the way from Stamford Bridge. In just a moment, do stay with us.
Catch me if I fall. Messi, I'll put you in a grade 6 feet like Kenny.
You call me a god. You call me a god. You call me a god. You gon' die if you try. You just might get a little bit of trouble, K-N-I-F-E. Right in your side, you will never see me coming. You gon' die if you try. You just might get a little bit of trouble, K-N-I-F-E. Right in your side, you will never see me
I got a
coming.
switch in my head. I go from living to dead. You got me seeing all red. Now
Just before we get to the second half from Stamford Bridge, just a reminder of all the games for this weekend. This is our roster of Premier League action this weekend. Some key games to look forward to. Luton against Everton is a key one. Friday night football. Arsenal Bournemouth lunchtime on Saturday. We'll be keeping an eye on that one when we're on air for our coverage of the Championship final day. And Manchester City and Wolves take on each other at 5:30 on Saturday as well, amongst a splattering of others as well. Right, players back out on the pitch for the second half here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 1, Tottenham 0. Don't forget, one more month of the season to go, and we'll carry you all the way through to the final whistles in every single game. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications if you don't want to miss a single moment of it in the final few weeks of this league season. The Premier League title race, the Championship final day, the playoffs from the Championship this season as well we'll be watching. We'll also be keeping an eye on the Champions League, the Europa League, the Conference League. We'll be watching the FA Cup final in the coming weeks. We have an abundance of action over the next 3-4 weeks for you here on LFS, and it'll all culminate with the Champions League final at Wembley in London on the 1st of June. Right, it was good I had that little bit of a spiel. A bit of a speech, shall we say, because we're just about ready to get back underway then, here at the bridge. Just awaiting everything to happen. No changes at the break, crucially, for you to inform you of. As we get back underway then at the bridge. Another 45 minutes for Chelsea to carry out what they've already half done, which they lead and will want to do even better. Well, we have to say, I mentioned it in the first half, that horrible run of form here for Spurs. Just one win in 38 previous meetings here at the bridge. Chance there for Kulishevsky, blocked. 38 games, just the one win here at the bridge is a really awful record. But one person who is here tonight that was involved in that was the Chelsea manager. Mauricio Pochettino, who was the then Spurs manager. Ericsson and Dele were involved that evening. They actually did come from 1-0 down in that game, Spurs to win 3-1 on the night, or on the day, whatever it was, on that afternoon, April 2018. That's a lovely threaded ball from Romero. Finds Son on the left. Son trying to deliver. This cross does take a deflection from Heung-min Son. It will be a corner. Some early chances for Spurs in the start of the second half. Trying to test Chelsea quickly. Catch them out maybe. The early moments of this second half. Corner, right hand side for Tottenham. An equaliser here would be absolutely massive for Spurs. The referee just tries to organise a few things in the box again. Got height in there, Spurs. The corner comes in and comes to nothing because it was too low, and also there was a foul on Marco Correa in the middle, so it all comes to nothing pretty quickly. Well, the reverse fixture earlier this season, Chelsea beat 9-man Tottenham 4-1 in a memorable encounter in November, with Nicholas Jackson exploiting Postecoglou's daring high line to score a hat-trick after Palmer's penalty had cancelled out Dejan Kulishevsky's opener. The Blues have done the Premier League double over Spurs on 9 previous occasions, only achieving the feat more often against Man City, which was 10 times. Tottenham, meanwhile, have only lost twice in the same season, more often against United, which is 10 times. And Manchester United are the only team to record more Premier League wins over Tottenham than Chelsea. The Red Devils beating them 39 times, Chelsea 34 times. This could be number 35 if they see it through tonight, Chelsea. There's an offside flag up there for Chelsea, so Spurs will get the free kick, which they've taken quickly, trying to break through the lines quickly. And that was kind of one of the criticisms that was thrown at Spurs, really, as I talked about them being very direct there. They weren't quick enough in their attacks. Even tonight in that first half, they were getting forward, they were on the break, but they just decided to turn back. They didn't want to continue the attack, didn't want to continue flowing forward. And their attacks come to an end as they're playing about at the back there, and Mudryk tries to go for the cross, but overhits it towards Jackson, which allows Vicario to recover. They get out of it. A mix there. Spurs almost played themselves into trouble once again, but times they've just been too slow in attack and really just not been shown enough initiative, shown enough kind of belief in their own ability in the final third, really, enough Spurs, and that's been a disappointment. Watching them in the last few weeks, you know, in the early part of the season, they were absolutely amazing to watch. They delivered goals at both ends, scoring them and conceding them. They had some absolute crackers this season, Tottenham, and late winners as well. But so far, they seem to have hit a bit of a dry spell up front and really lacking the creativity in terms of delivering in that final third. But here's Son, though. He's one that can unlock any defence. Although Chelsea keeping that door fairly shut. Although Alfie Gilchrist is going to be penalised here for being a bit too over-exuberant against Heung-min Son. I think he just stretches himself out there, Gilchrist, unnecessarily. Son is facing away from goal. He's nowhere to go. And he just maybe goes down a bit easily there, Son, to be honest. But if you're in that position, you're going to go down and ask the referee a question. And that he did. And referee Rob Jones whistled up for a free kick to Tottenham. Pedro Porro to take this free kick. It's pretty good position. It's around about 4 yards from the goal line, the byline. Wide on the left-hand side of the box. So it's a very high free kick. It might be a quick delivery. It's a bit of a chip more than anything into the box here from Porro. Cross headed away by Chala. Scored with his head at one end and denied Spurs a chance at the other. With his head, Trevor Chala there. Great defending from the Chelsea centre-back. As Chelsea come forward, look at the break they have on here. Move down the left-hand side it comes. Jackson plays it off to Madueke. Madueke in space. Now finds Palmer. Tried to take it first time, Cole Palmer, and he just goes high and wide with that one. Not one of his most memorable efforts, Cole Palmer. Probably should have took a touch, to be honest. Yeah. Tries to take it first time and completely leaning back. Loses all control of the strike, and it goes high and wide. No issue at all for the Spurs keeper to worry about. Here's Son for Tottenham, though. They want to respond to that. Here comes Kulusevski across, and Richarlison hit it wide. Will be a corner, I believe. Good move down the left from Spurs there. Son linking up. Nice infield run from Kulusevski. Kulusevski just gets to the inside the 18-yard box. Squares it across for Richarlison, who hits it wide. I think I took a deflection from that because they whipped a corner in there, Spurs. Although that corner will pop out the other end. Will be a Spurs throw on the far right-hand side. Some glimpses there from Tottenham. They're trying to be more threatening in the final third. Still without a shot on target, though. Pressure there from Madueke. Clipping at the heels of Van de Ven was Jackson, but Van de Ven rides that challenge, and Son doesn't ride the challenge. Alfie Gilchrist, who Deemed to have fouled him again. And Son will win another free kick off the young right back of Chelsea there. Yeah, it is a late challenge by Gilchrist. Half a second too late. Unfortunate for him. It is a foul, it is a free kick. Comes to nothing. Son offside. Great that. To be fair, I've just seen a replay and I've just seen Son just run into the channel. Just makes that run maybe a split second too early. Romero with a diagonal trying to find Son on the left, and there was a gap. There was an opportunity. Just Son was offside. Here's Chelsea on the brick though. That long ball up the middle, straight the way through to Vicario to deal with. Jackson was there to try and run. And that was what absolutely undone Spurs in the reverse fixture back in November. They were completely beaten out at the back. The high line completely destroyed them. Completely and utterly just battered Tottenham defensively, that high line. Because Chelsea just pinged it in behind every single time. And Sterling was having a field day that game. Jackson was absolutely loving it. He got a hat-trick, Jackson. So there is space in behind this Spurs team for Chelsea. They've tried to find it all night. Spurs have probably dealt with it a lot better this time around than they did the first time around against Chelsea earlier this season. But so far, Chelsea still getting a bit of joy, or a relative bit of joy out of it. Well, one of the other facts, I'm going to bring it back to that TikTok video, because I really thought that was a good idea, the 5 facts for the game. I'll read them out to you, because I do have them handy to me. And they're really interesting stats. You know, if you've been watching the channel, you know I love a good stat. And the one stat that I was interested in, Chelsea have scored 2 goals in 6 of the last 7 games against Tottenham at Stamford Bridge. At least 2 goals or more against Tottenham. So when they find the net here at the Bridge against them, they usually double their lead and get a second. But so far they haven't been able to this evening. Whether that stat holds true or not, we will soon find out. 11 minutes gone in this second half. It is still Chelsea 1, Tottenham 0. As Brennan Johnson closed down there. We have a goal at Villa Park. Maybe, just maybe, it's not over yet for Aston Villa. They've got a goal back, and it's you know who. It's only going to be one player, and it's Ollie Watkins. Lovely finish, a cross goal, gets an applause from the future King of England, Prince William. And Aston Villa back in the tie. Aston Villa 1, Olympiacos 2. Here comes Madueke. And closed down by Emerson Royal. They're coming into the final few minutes of that first half, by the way, at Villa Park. So still another half of football to come after there. Still a long way to go in that one. Sarr. Porro. Spurs trying to eke forward as they play that long ball from Porro. Son trying to latch upon the second one. Madueke couldn't get the batch of him, and Son running through. Son absolutely taken out there by Caicedo. Referee says no foul as he plays advantage. Here's Kulishevsky, and that ball is blasted away by Alfie Gilchrist into the stands. And out of danger for the moment for Chelsea. But Spurs looking more potent at the moment. And a few opportunities to get forward. Richarlison across to Sarr. Now finds Brennan Johnson. Johnson headed against Cucurella again. Looking for the cross and blocked him wide for the throw-in. Porro with a throw. Finds Richarlison in the box. Back out to Porro. Sarr having to track back. And Romero has to go all the way back to his keeper. And in terms of the second half, the action areas, 41% of the possession has been in the Chelsea defensive third, only 22% in Spurs' defensive third. So certainly Spurs getting into that final third a bit better in this second half. Getting into the final third more than Chelsea in this second 45 so far. Nice run in behind by Kulishevsky, but tried to play it off and blocked off by Cucurella again there. I have to say, Marc Cucurella has done a really good job at the back for Chelsea there tonight in that position. Closed down everything that's come his way. Here come Spurs again at Gilchrist with a nice header. I mean, the whole Chelsea back four have been pretty solid tonight. Here's Madueke. Finds Palmer on the break. Palmer down the right hand side. He's got Jackson in the middle. Cole Palmer wants to go himself here. Palmer wants to shoot. Blocked. Should have probably played it off, but Palmer will keep it up the pitch and will get Chelsea the throw in on this right hand side. Maybe Chelsea just trying to take the pressure off their defence and carry the ball forward a bit more now. Here's Madueke down the right hand side, chops back onto his left, beats past Royal, gets into the box, still going Madueke. Couldn't find a teammate with a pass, but really nice solo run again from Noni Madueke. Completely had Emerson Royal on toast there. But unfortunately for the Chelsea number 11, he couldn't find a teammate to pass the ball off to. A really good chance creation there from the right winger. Here's Van de Ven. As we hit the hour mark here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 1, Tottenham 0. As Royal tried to commit himself there, he just literally fell to the floor. Madueke got the better of him again. Gallagher now finds Palmer. This game for Chelsea, they need another goal to have a bit more security. Spurs just need to hold on and hope they get an opportunity again to level. Although here's Chelsea giving it away. Cucurella couldn't reach it from Chalaba's pass. Here's Brennan Johnson down the right, but it goes wide. Sarr now tries to play it in. Here's Porro. Forces a save off Petrovic. Positivity for Spurs. Here's Sarr. Trying to find options. Finds Bissouma. Lots of bodies back now for Chelsea to defend this position. Here's Son though. Closed down nicely there, Heung-min Son, and cleared away. Spurs with their first shot on target there from Pedro Porro. In that moment, that attacking phase. So they're starting to test the Chelsea keeper. Not particularly hard though, but they started to test him at least, which is a positive. It is an improvement. There is options. If the Spurs are ready to make changes, which I think they are, as Sarr completely miskicks the ball. Royal picks that up though. Finds Bissouma. Now Emerson Royal in the middle. Royal! Head it high. Over the bar. Off target there from Emerson Royal. And that will be the cue for a double change for Tottenham. Incoming. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. James Maddison. Richarlison's going to make way. Actually making a triple change because Richarlison's come off for Bentancur. Pap Sarr is coming off. He's going to be replaced by Maddison. And the third change is Bissouma off for Højbjerg. So Bissouma, Sarr and Richarlison all off. And Højbjerg, Maddison and Bentancur all on for Spurs. A triple change for Ange Postecoglou to try and change the fortunes of Tottenham in this game. With 27 minutes to go. They have a deficit of 1 goal to cut out and then try and go further than that and maybe possibly win this game, but a long way away from that now at this moment. Here's Son. Brennan Johnson on the left now, finds Son. Back to Royale. Now Højbjerg with his first opportunity. Has the shot from distance, but it bobbles its way towards Dore Petrovic in the Chelsea goal. Well, I talked about how Chelsea have scored at least two goals against Tottenham in 6 of the last 7 meetings at the Bridge. They haven't kept a clean sheet against Tottenham in 3 straight games, Chelsea, so that will be a worry considering that it is only a 1-goal advantage they have. And that's why they're probably looking for that second. Palmer trying to play it forward, but duly cut out, but again given away by Højbjerg. Gallagher tried to play it there, but couldn't find his man, and it's won back by Tottenham. Maddison on the spin there, and gets a foul out of Benoit Badiashile. The referee Rob Jones blowing the whistle. Let's see this again. Yeah, that's not a foul. Not a foul at all. I mean, James Maddison trips over himself, actually. It's not a foul by Badiashile, and I can see why he felt a bit hard done by there. Spurs with a throw in. Certainly showing more threat, Spurs, in this second half, but really still not found the goal that could get them back in the game. As Chelsea win a free kick here, as Mykhailo Mudryk is fouled. So a free kick there. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg was the man that committed that foul. Chelsea give it away from the free kick instantly there. Here's Brennan Johnson down the left. Here he comes. Tries to cross it, blocked. Recycles it back for Bentancur. Linking up with Royale, and Royale's ball's a bit overhit. It does find its way to Maddison. Here's Brennan Johnson down the left again. Breaking in a bit further infield this time and winning the corner off Alfie Gilchrist, which gets applause from the Tottenham fans behind that goal. Certainly enough time for them to believe that they could change this result completely. Those Spurs fans. James Maddison with the corner. Left hand side of the goal. Whipped it in with the right boot. Headed away by Badiashile that time, and Højbjerg tried to shoot, blocked off, and now Jackson nicks it away and tries to go on the break. He's pushed to the floor there, Nicholas Jackson. A free kick will come the way of Chelsea, and a yellow card will come the way of Mickey van de Ven. It was Van de Ven that actually tried to have a shot from the edge of the box. He just overrun it. Just took too much time, run out of room, and Jackson just nicked it away from him and charged on the break. And then Van de Ven just had to just shove him over. It was a cynical foul. It was always going to be a yellow card. And it always a Chelsea free kick, and given rightfully so. It's 4th yellow card of the season for Mickey van de Ven. Gilchrist. All over the top, trying to find Palmer. As Van de Ven plays it into an area. Under pressure, Royale. Now Højbjerg across to Vicario, under control. Nice work from Romero. Plays it in the midfield, finds Bentancur. Space to run forward here. Maddison, lovely flick on. Finds Son through the middle. Here's Heung-min Son. Lays it off to Brennan Johnson across, and diving towards it was Emerson Royale. But agonisingly it evades everyone in there and rolls out for a goal kick at the far end. How close could that have been for Tottenham? Goodness me. But it was the flick from Maddison was an absolute perfect. Maybe Heung-min Son might have been offside in any case, actually. And then Brennan Johnson just uses his pace, uses his body down the left. The flag went up actually after that phase, so it wouldn't have counted. But really good move by Tottenham. And Maddison highly involved as expected. A player of his quality and the impact he's had on Spurs this season, Maddison. James Maddison, 11 goal involvements this season for Tottenham. 4 goals, 7 assists this campaign in 23 starts. Johnson. Højbjerg. This will get into a nervy period now for Chelsea if they really do come under more pressure and Spurs try to press for that equaliser, which they have done so far in the second half. They will really hit a nervy patch, Chelsea, where it's only a 1-goal lead, and whether they will commit to defending or whether they'll commit to try and doubling their lead. It's a fine balance, and one they've held on to so far and find the balance of so far. And while holding off Tottenham. These will be nervy 20 minutes if Chelsea can't find that second goal. And it will be a pretty quick 20 minutes for Spurs. It will feel like a lifetime for Chelsea if it is just going to be the 1-goal lead they'll have leading into this time. It will feel like gone in a flash if Spurs can't get an equaliser out of it. Chelsea win the throw-in on the right-hand side with Madueke. "20 minutes to go here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 1, Tottenham 0. Trevor Chalaba's goal, the difference between the two teams so far. Chelsea without a shot on target in the second half. So really haven't tested Vicario at any real pressure in this second period so far. Here's Cucurella though. Gallagher, the heavy touch lets him down, and Cucurella winning it back. Gets the free kick off Kulusevski there. Cucurella stayed down. The heavy touch from Gallagher let him down, and then really good endeavour from Marc Cucurella. Has been fantastic all night. Cucurella battling, just gets the foul out of Dejan Kulusevski. A free kick for Chelsea. Fairly central, around about 26 yards, 27 yards out. Very, almost dead centre, just slightly to the right. But it is very central, this free kick, which makes it even more difficult. You would kind of rather have an angle on a set piece like this. Here's Palmer to take the shot. Oh, hand off the underside of the crossbar. Knight hit it on and in. The rebound. Cole Palmer set it up, and Nicholas Jackson finished it off. That was a strange goal, but a perfectly good goal nonetheless. And Spurs again from set pieces at 6s and 7s. That is terrible. Cole Palmer almost scoring from the free kick directly off the underside of the crossbar. It bounces up perfectly for Nicholas Jackson, following it in, and he just chops up with a header and just flicks it past anyone from Spurs bodies and just into the back of the Spurs net. That's fabulous. Fabulous centre forward play from Nicholas Jackson, following the ball, waiting for the rebound. It's what he's told, it's what you're told as a striker from those positions, and he's done exactly that. He's latched upon it, and Chelsea double their lead, and their nervy final 20 minutes has turned into a bit of breathing room, a bit of headroom in this game. Chelsea 2, Tottenham 0, both from set pieces. It was made the point before the game. Spurs look weak from set pieces defensively. Only the bottom 4 in the league have conceded more set pieces than Tottenham. Well, they've conceded another 2 tonight. Terrible defending once again. But really, it's credit to Chelsea. And the fact that they latched upon that rebound with Nicholas Jackson. Fabulous stuff. And it's been all Spurs pressure in this second half, more or less. They've been the better, probably they responded better to that poor first half, Spurs. Chelsea hadn't had a shot on target up to that point. And with their first shot on target of the second half, they get that second goal. And they're going to make changes now. Mikhailo Mudrik's going to come off. He's going to be replaced by Cesar Casadei. So Cesar Casadei's coming on. And it's Nicholas Jackson's 11th Premier League goal of the season. His 4th against Tottenham this season. And that continues the run of Chelsea scoring at least 2 goals against Tottenham at Stamford Bridge. All of their last 5 and 6 of their last 7. Before this, it's now all of their last 6 and 7 of their last 8. They've scored at least 2 goals against Tottenham at the Bridge. And this could be another damaging blow to Tottenham's hopes of a possible European spot, or of a Champions League spot. They would find themselves 7 points behind Aston Villa with only 1 game in hand. It would mean Villa are almost within touching distance of a Champions League qualification season here in the Premier League under Unai Emery. It makes it all but impossible now for Spurs, really, unless Villa have an absolute collapse in the final few games. It's almost certain they will get that place and Spurs will have to settle for Europa League. That seems to be the case. And tonight, it doesn't look like that's going to be changing. And Chelsea are on the hot on the heels of Newcastle and Manchester United now, as they want a European place of their own. They find themselves only 2 points behind Newcastle and 3 points behind Manchester United heading into the weekend's games. Chelsea. And Chelsea have a couple of big games to come. Home to West Ham, away to Forest, away to Brighton, and then home to Bournemouth on the final day. Very winnable games, a few of those, if not all of them. Corner for Tottenham. Maybe last chance saloon for Spurs. Is headed wide. Back into the mix for Kulishevsky to try and deliver once again. Cross comes in and deflected. Oh, Chelsea don't deal with it well. Casadei does well to adjust there, Cesar Casadei. But Noni Madueke doesn't find Jackson, and will go out for a Spurs throw on the left hand side. There's an issue here for Tottenham. There's a stoppage at the moment. It is Christian Romero that went down. Doesn't need treatment, Romero, which is good to see him back to his feet fairly quickly. It was just with a collision of Cesar Casadei there that he went down. He's back to his feet. Is Romero ready to continue? Although one player that won't be continuing is Brennan Johnson. He's going to make way, and Brian Hale is coming on in his place. So a change for Spurs late in this game to try and change the outcome. It will be some comeback if they do it at this late stage. Tottenham. Here is Hale. Lays it in behind. Cross from Royal. Straight into the hands of Petrovic. who collected with ease in the middle of his own goal. This would be Spurs' 10th defeat of the season, which would add them amongst the list of Premier League teams that have double figures defeats this season. Only 4 teams don't have double figures defeats this season. That's the top 4 themselves. Everyone outside the top 4 would have at least 10 defeats this season if Spurs lose this game. Still not confirmed. There is still time. It's whether there will be the belief from Tottenham they can do it. Chala blocked off. Palmer. And now trying to get Chelsea in behind that run. Oh, the ball to Jackson was not the best. It's a bit behind. Spurs have it back again. There is a delay to the second half getting underway at Villa Park. There was a medical emergency at Villa Park, so we hope everything is okay with the person involved in that and the person in question, and we wish them all the very best. Of course, the second half has just got underway at Villa Park, of course, and it is Aston Villa 1, Olympiacos 2 heading into the final. The next 45 minutes there. We will keep you to date with the other games. Nothing of major note has changed since we last updated you from those European games. 10 minutes to go here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 2, Tottenham 0. Both from set pieces. Something that Spurs really need to work on. But here comes Maddison to try and get them a goal, but whips his cross in, and it will completely avoid everyone. And I think it went behind for a goal kick. Pretty much sums up Spurs' night, really. Showing promise in this second half, but getting a goal from somewhere was crucial. A leveller would have been an absolute dream for Ange Postecoglou's team. Reignite them. And with them feeling the more confident in the second half, they could have went on and possibly won this game, which would have been a dream. But failure to take your opportunities when they come for you, and you live to rue them in this league. And certainly that is the case for Tottenham. Chelsea, with their first shot on target of the second half, got their second goal of the night. That's what being clinical is all about. Chala. And Spurs is running. If they are to do one of the biggest returns, if they are to get Champions League football, it would have to be some sort of comeback to this final 4 games of the season. They play 3 games in their final 2. Their final 4 are Liverpool and Manchester City. They have to go to Anfield on Sunday at 4:30. They then host Burnley after that. Then they go to they host Manchester City on the 14th, the midweek before the final week. And then on the final day they head to Sheffield United, who are already relegated. So 2 relegation battlers and 2 teams at the top half of the table. The top of the table for Spurs. Fairly not an easy run of fixtures for them up until the final day. And they've not had the easiest spell themselves up to this point. They played Newcastle and Arsenal before this, the North London derby, and then before that, of course, the trip to St James's Park. Betty is Shield. Ball over the top. That one evaded everyone there. We're now in this moment of the game where Spurs are trying to conjure up some sort of goal from anywhere to maybe push for a late drama. Chelsea are just trying to see this one out now. They've got the 2-goal lead. They're comfortable ahead. They're in no need of urgently moving the ball about. They're just trying to manage this game out now, Chelsea. We're in that balance of real lack of urgency at this moment in time flowing through the game. This would be Chelsea's 14th league win of the season. 51 points they would be on with this victory. Would take them above West Ham this evening. A draw would have been enough to do that even this evening, but the extra 2 points would go a long way in their hopes of European football next season. West Ham would love European football. Bournemouth are not out of the question of European football either at this stage. Newcastle and Manchester United are certainly the two in the driving seats at this moment in time for that other European place. Alfie Gilchrist has just gone down here for the moment, which can give me time to tell you. Don't forget, we will have action from the Amex Stadium in a double-header this Sunday. We start at the Amex on the south coast as Brighton take on Aston Villa. That's Sunday at 2 o'clock here on LFS, followed by Liverpool taking on Tottenham. Another away game for Spurs. Certainly not one of any easier quality. Liverpool against Spurs Sunday at 4:30, and then we round off the weekend on the Monday nights as Crystal Palace take on Manchester United at Selhurst Park under the lights. Crystal Palace, who've had a good run of form in recent times, unbeaten in their last 4 games. Palace wins over Liverpool and Newcastle and West Ham in that time. And that draw against Fulham must have been fantastic for Man United. Will be fearing themselves, who knows. Alfie Gilchrist has just come off here, and he's going to be replaced by Josh Achiempong, another Chelsea youngster. I have to say I hadn't seen or heard of him before this. The team news tonight, number 63, defender, 17 years of age, born on May the 5th, 2006, his birthday in a couple of days. Turns 18 in 3 days' time. From the Chelsea under-19 squad, Josh Achiempong. Actually made the bench against Aston Villa at the weekend. Made the bench a couple of times this season, including Newcastle, Leicester, Burnley at home, and that Aston Villa game as well. But this is the first time he's made an appearance from the bench. Josh Achiempong for Chelsea. And Chelsea have a free kick here on the right hand side. Conor Gallagher, Cole Palmer, as they have all night, been over these set pieces for Chelsea. They've done well so far from them. Scored from 2 of them. I want to do another. Have a hat-trick of set-piece goals tonight, Chelsea. So Gallagher and Palmer over it. Whipped in by Palmer. Tried to go for goal himself and it had to be tipped over by Vicario. Corner it will be. So corner for Chelsea in the dying moments. We have a goal at Villa Park. I'll tell you about that after this corner's been taken. Massive goal at Villa Park. I'll have to tell you about that in a moment. As Conor Gallagher's coming over to take this corner for Chelsea on the left-hand side. 3 minutes to go. Plus additional time here at Stamford Bridge. Chimpong eyeing up a possible chance here. Palmer. Back to Gallagher. Gonna keep it in that corner. Has to be forced out though. Caicedo will put it back in there. Palmer will try and keep it in, but can't do so, and it will be a goal kick to Spurs. That goal then at Villa Park, and it is an equaliser for Unai Emery's side. They find themselves 2-0 down in that first half at one point. 2 goals from El Kaabi, and a second half, or well, the end of the first half, they got one back through Ollie Watkins, and then just in 7 minutes of the second half, they level their game. Moussa Diaby with the goal. It is Aston Villa 2, Olympiacos 2. Fighting spirit from Unai Emery's Aston Villa. Gil blocked off as Palmer now gets the break of the ball. Tries to beat Bentancur, but actually lost the ball in the process there, Palmer. Confused himself in that moment. Maybe too little too late now with this Spurs attack. Lo Celso's come on as well here in the last few minutes. Here's Son. Finds Bentancur with a shot, but another pretty tame one towards Petrovic. Not much danger. It's an easy catch for the Chelsea keeper as it rolls towards him. Simple enough indeed. Grigori Petrovic. Given away there by Chelsea though. Son tried to break through the middle. Closed down by Badiashile, who clears it long for Chelsea. Højbjerg to pick it back up. Geel. Taken out there by Benoit Badiashile was Heung-min Son. Spurs take the free kick quickly, not waiting around. Last 30 seconds of the 90. I don't think they need to wait around. They need a goal. That's what they need if they want a late finish. Geel. Here's Bentancur. Oh, good challenge by Gallagher in the box. And will be a corner to Tottenham. A goal here would certainly be a dramatic ending. Whether it'll be enough time for Spurs, who knows. Madison. Corner taken short. Finds its way to Lo Celso with a cross. Oh, there's a real scramble in there. Still not away. Here's Lo Celso. Hit the body of a Chelsea player in there. Madison! Deflection corner. And we have 6 added minutes at the end of the 90. There's a penalty at Villa Park. We'll get there in a moment. 6 added minutes then in this game. And Spurs having a late flurry. Another short corner. Geel. Left-footed delivery into the box. Headed on. Now he finds a way to Højbjerg. Charged down there fantastically by Achiampong to block it. 17-year-old debutant for Chelsea, blocking it on the line, stopping the Spurs attack in its tracks. Højbjerg. I'm going to switch it, but running out of room. Goal at Villa Park then from the penalty spot. And just as Aston Villa had been getting back into the game, they find themselves behind once again. And they are 3-2 down now. Olympiacos scoring from the spot, and it's an El Kaabi hat-trick at Villa Park. And it's Aston Villa 2, Olympiacos 3. What a game. Chance, Bentancur wide. That was another good moment. Kind of sweeped it towards goal there, Bentancur. He was just a bit too... He was too relaxed. It's almost like he was expecting him to sweep it into the net. Takes it first time. He's so much more time than he believes. Should be doing better there. 4 minutes of the 6 added to go. And the Tottenham fans have already seen enough. They're on their way out the door. Quick trip back up north. Not fully north, just up to North London. For them. Not much of a trek, to be honest. On a weeknight, you want to get back as quickly as possible. After that pretty poor performance, I would have to say, overall from Tottenham tonight. For the moment, they've kind of stumbled at this point of the season. Another shot. But another one gone a-begging from James Maddison. Hit the top, the advertising hoarding at the bottom of the top tier of that stand behind the goal. So, certainly was well off target, shall we say. Time for player of the match. And I have to be honest, I'm really... I think it's a pretty easy one for me tonight, really. I've been mentioning him all night. I haven't been mentioning him recently, but he has been my player of the match tonight. The actual broadcaster has given it to Trevor Chala, and I can't argue with that with his goal. But the man that I'm giving the player of the match to is Mark Cucurella. Really epitomised a really strong defensive performance tonight. When he was under pressure, but he was in those moments. In the second half, he's come up trumps. He's done a lot of hard work for Chelsea, both defensively and going forward tonight. And I think he's been fantastic in defence for them this evening. And I think he deserves player of the match. Change there from Chelsea once more. Nicholas Jackson coming off. And Jimmy Turainen is coming on. Apologies if I mispronounced that. But youngsters galore coming on for Chelsea. With their stretched squad, youngsters are where they're having to dip into the pool of their youth teams. And a couple of good players showing themselves here tonight. There's another one, Chiampong, stepping in, clearing the ball away, going long. Vicario with a chest down there. Had to take that risk. That came off actually well for him. 90 seconds to go. Surely it's too little too late now for Spurs for any sort of hope. They do have a corner though. Spurs' 7th consecutive game without a clean sheet in all competitions. In the Premier League, obviously. Oh, cause of handball in there. Nothing in that for me. Chelsea, this will be their first clean sheet in 4. Will be their first clean sheet in their last 4 against Tottenham. If they do hold on and don't concede in the last minute here. Son. Madison. Madison flicks it around the corner. Hill with a cross, but he absolutely blasts that one right across and well behind for a goal kick. That's really, really poor from Spurs there. Summed up their evening, really, for Tottenham. Done nothing major quality in that final third, and once again that point will be thrown to them. A lack of creativity in the final third. Their second successive away game where they haven't scored, and they've conceded 6 goals. And there's the final whistle. Mauricio Pochettino against his former club gets victory at the bridge and keeps that long-standing unbeaten run, that long-standing fantastic record for Chelsea against Spurs going. 1 defeat in 39 here now at Stamford Bridge. An incredible run of form. And terrible for Spurs. Another defeat on the road for Tottenham. And another one in a London derby as well. That's their 3rd successive defeat in the Premier League, and their hopes of a top 4 place now as small as ever, as slim as ever. They find themselves 7 points behind Aston Villa with only a game in hand now. Even if they win that game in hand against Manchester City, they will still be 4 points behind Villa come the level number of games. And even they've Liverpool to face and Burnley, who are trying to avoid relegation in that process as well. Spurs in the run-in. Aston Villa in the driving seat. Spurs almost destined for Europa League. Chelsea can dare to dream for Europa League football. Any sort of European football here next season would be a positive for Chelsea. And they are on the up under Mauricio Pochettino. And we're starting to see the fruits of his labour. Even with 13 injuries, his side are still delivering and offering big results. A win and a clean sheet for Mauricio Pochettino is another big improvement. Final score from Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 2, Tottenham Hotspur 0. And that's it from us here tonight on LFS. Great to have you with us. Thank you very much for joining me this evening on this Premier League commentary this Thursday evening. Also on our match focus game, it is still Aston Villa 2, Olympiacos 3, around 27 minutes to go in that one. We're going to leave you now, but do have a great rest of your evening, and we'll be back on Saturday lunchtime. Do not forget, Saturday lunchtime, the Championship final day. Who will clinch the final automatic promotion place? Will it be Ipswich Town or Leeds United? All to play for. Saturday 12:30, all 12 games, including that Ipswich Huddersfield game, here on LFS. You don't want to miss it. But for now, have a great night. Bye bye.